Hello everyone, hope all of you are doing great. And in today's video, we are going to discuss October 2023 paper 1. So calculator is not allowed. The first question over here is requesting from you to calculate the volume of this prism. If you remember, we know that the volume of any prism is area of cross-section, which is already given to us, multiplied by length or depth or whatever you call it. So it's just area of cross-section, which is 10, multiplied by the length, which is 4, equals 40. So it is 40 centimeters cubed. Draw a ring around the scatter graph that shows positive correlation. So positive correlation means that it is increasing this way, going in this direction. It is increasing. So the only one that is increasing is this one. This one doesn't have positive correlation. It is not that when X increases, Y increases. No, this is when X increases, Y decreases. This is negative correlation. And the other one has no correlation. The only one that it has positive correlation is this. Here you need to remember that natural numbers are actually positive numbers and not natural numbers other than that, other than positive. So the only thing that is going to give you a positive answer is 4 to the power 3 and negative 5 squared, which is equivalent to 25, positive 25. That's why it's under the natural. While negative 2 cubed, it is equal to negative 8, and cubic root of negative 8 is equal to negative 2. That's why they are not natural. We know that in division, if you're dividing it by greater than 1, the answer is going to get smaller. That's why they wrote it smaller than. So 20 is going to get smaller. Unlike here, when you divide by smaller than 1, it's a proper fraction. Any proper fraction is smaller than 1. So here you're dividing by smaller than 1, the answer gets bigger than 20. Here in multiplication, if you're multiplying by greater than 1, well, normally it gets bigger than 20. While if you're multiplying it by smaller than 1, like this proper fraction, multiplying by smaller than 1, then the answer gets smaller than 20. In this one over here, we agree that the t, if a variable is in the denominator, you take the whole denominator to the other side multiplication. So if 36 equals 4 times t, which is 40. Send the 4 to the other side division. T equals 9. In this one over here, it is 1 minus. I need to make the denominators the same. So 9 over 8 stays the same, but multiplying this by 4, multiplying this by 4 will give you 4 over 8. Now the denominators are the same, and we must start with the brackets. So 1 minus 9 over 8 minus 4 over 8 is actually 5 over 8. So if you just remove 1 over here and write 8 over 8, 1 could be anything over itself, right? So 1 could be anything over itself, 7 over 7, 6 over 6, 5 over 5, 8 over 8. So definitely I'm going to choose 8 over 8 because I need the denominator to be 8. Minus 5 over 8 equals 3 over 8. Draw a ring around the statement that is true. So you're going to find, for example, this 3 is square root of 9, and while this is square root of 16. So no, square root of 7 is not in between. This one here is square root of 16, and this is square root of 25. Yes, this is the only one that you're going to find is true. Square root of 18 is actually in between, is between 4 and 5. Jamila works out an estimate of this. She says 104.37, I'm going to round it to be 100, and this one I'm going to round it to be times 1 equals 100. Well, that's not bad. It is correct as an estimate. But they're requesting from you to complete the statement to show how to work out a better estimate. Better estimate means you round to a degree of accuracy that is more accurate. So maybe you can say instead of 100, someone might say to me, no, I'm going to make it 105 or 104. And instead of this, I'm going to make it 0.5. So 104 multiplied by 0.5 is a better estimate. And I still can get the half of 104, which is 52. This is correct. Someone else might give me a lot of other possible answers. So someone might say, well, mister, I'm going to make this 100. but times 0.6. Well, this is also going to be fine. And instead of rounding the decimal to become one whole, no, I'm going to make it 0.6, which is going to be equal to 60. Also, this is a better estimate. So you have a lot of better estimates, and all of them you're going to find them listed for you in the mark scheme. This is question 7, I guess. What is the number of the question? We're going to see. Oh, here we go. Question 8. So they are listing for you. They have here a list of much better estimates. Here, they're telling you a team can either win, lose, or draw. They don't have a fourth option. It's one of the three. But complete the table. Well, we know that the three of them must add up to one whole. 0.5 plus 0.4 is 0.9. So I have 0.1 missing to complete the one whole. So it's one whole minus 0.5 plus 0.4, which is 1 minus 0.9, which is 0.1, the draw. They want you here to classify or complete the table for corresponding and not corresponding. Here, diagram A, they are co-interior, and you must know them just to study. Co-interior, and they add up to 180 degrees. They are not equal. While these are actually alternate interior, and they are equal. Yes, you're not requested to do that, but just for studying purposes. So A and B are not corresponding, while C and D, they are corresponding, making it that F shape. So it is C and D are corresponding, they are equal. Write this in the standard form. Standard form, then here it's going to be 7 multiplied by 10 to the power of 6. All right, write these numbers in order of size, starting with the smallest. So you're going to find that all of them are actually in the standard form. If they are all in the standard form, I started with the smallest power is going to be the smallest. Okay, but Mr. I have here 10 to the power of negative 1, 10 to the power of negative 1. Both of them have the smallest power, negative 1, negative 1. Which one shall I choose? You choose the one with the smallest number. So it is 5.5 times 10 to the power of negative 1, then 6.4 times 10 to the power of negative 1, and the largest of them all is 5.5 times 10 to the power 4. 5 quadrilaterals are shown on the grid. They're saying to you that quadrilateral P is transformed by a reflection followed by a translation. Draw a ring around the unshaded quadrilateral that is not a possible image of quadrilateral P. So all of them actually are possible images, except only one of them. If you noticed, reflection doesn't change the size of the shape. Translation doesn't change the size of the shape. Even rotation doesn't change the size of the shape, but you're going to find them all have an equal size. This is the same as this in size, as this, and is the same as this in size. The only one that has a different size is this. Look at this side. It has 3 squares. Nothing here has 3 squares, or is 3 squares. So the only one that cannot be a possible image is this, because it has a different size. Here, equivalent to recurring decimal. So they're saying to you, one of them is equivalent to a recurring decimal to show each. No, I'm sorry, it's not. They did not say one. They're saying to you, tick to show each fraction that is equivalent to a recurring decimal. Here, the denominator has prime factors other than 2 and 5, so it is recurring. Here, I must get the simplest form. Dividing by 2 is 3, dividing by 2 is 4. Definitely not recurring. It is terminating. It is equal to 0.75. And this one over here, dividing by 4 is 1, dividing by 4 is 3. Mister, it has a recurring decimal. The denominator has prime factors other than 2 and 5. It has prime factor 3. So it is also recurring. 1 over 6 and 4 over 12. N is an integer. It is greater than 0, less than 15. N over 15 is equivalent to a terminating decimal. equivalent to a terminating decimal? Well, the 15 on its own actually, if this is in the simplest form, then it is definitely recurring and not terminating. Why? Because 15 has prime factors other than 2 and 5. So it is definitely a Mr. If it is in the simplest form, it is going to definitely give me a recurring, not terminating. But we need something for n so that it turns the 15 or simplifies with the 15 into something that is actually going to give me a terminating decimal. So if you say to me 3 over 15, this is going to give you 1 over 5, which is terminating. 6 over 15, this is also going to turn it into 2 over 5, which is terminating. If you say 9 over 15, so, oh, we're trying here the multiples of 3. Exactly. Dividing by 3 gives you 3 over 5, which is terminating. And the last of them all is 12 over 15 gives you 4 over 5, which is also terminating. How many options do you have? 4 options. That's the question, actually. Draw a ring around to the number of possible values. The number of possible values is 1, 2, 3, 4 values. The final digit of 7 to the power of n is 1. Well, write down a possible value of n if n is greater than 7. 7 to the power of n is 1. If you notice over here, there is a pattern. 7 to the power of 1 has a value that has final digit 7. 7 to the power of 2, the value ends with a 9. 7 to the power of 3, the value ends with a 3. 7 to the power of 4, the value ends with a 1. Then the pattern repeats. Look at that. 7, 9, 3, 1. Then the 7 to the power of 5, 7, 9, 3, 1. So there is a pattern in the final digit. So 7 to the power of 8 will definitely end with something that, an answer that ends with what? 7, 9, 3, 1. So the final digit of 7 to the power of n is 1. This could be, write down a possible value of n, and could be 8. Okay? And every 4 numbers, actually, 1 gets repeated. Every 4 powers, that 1 gets repeated. Look at that. When it was 7 to the power of 4, it was 1. So 7 to the power of 8, it was also 1. So 7 to the power of 12, it is also going to be 1. So you can write 8, or you can write 12, or you can write 16, or you can write 20, and so on. All of them will end with what? 1, their values. Okay, use patterns in the table to find the final digit of 7 to the power of 22. Mister, we agreed every 4 numbers, it ends with 1. So if we say 7 to the power of 8, we stop there. It is going to be, the final digit is going to be 1. 7 to the power of 12, final digit is 1. 7 to the power of 16, final digit is 1. 7 to the power of 20. So you see, we're following here the powers of the multiples of 4. 7 to the power of 20, also 1. Okay, but we want 7 to the power of 22. So after the 1, 7 to the power of 20, we agreed ends with 1. Let's imagine this 7 to the power of 20. So 7 to the power of 21 ends with a 7. 7 to the power of 22 ends with a 9. The final digit of it is 9. This one over here, we need to multiply. You're going to need to ignore the decimal point and ignore also the sign. The sign we know that is going to be negative over negative 0.2. So 18 times 6 is going to give you exactly 48 over here, which is 108. So it is negative 108. No, there's a decimal point. Don't forget it over here. 1 decimal place. So this one. Mr. Negative divided by negative is positive, so for sure it is positive answer. But I know that 10 to the power 10.8 over 0.2, I must multiply this by 10, multiply this by 10 to make the denominator a whole number. I cannot divide if the denominator is a decimal. You must make it a whole number. So 108 over 2. Definitely the positive sign is not needed over here, but I just wrote it to confirm with you that negative divided by negative is positive. Multiplying both numerators and denominators by 10 changes the answer into 108 over 2, which is 54. I'm going to take this question to this application. They're saying to you, sorry, construct an angle of 30 degrees, and that the construction has been started for you. So, mister, what they have done over here is for 60-degree angle. We know this. This is a 60-degree angle, and if you close it, it's going to give you an equilateral triangle, but we don't want an equilateral triangle. We just want a 60-degree angle. We know, mister, that this is 60 degrees, but they want a 30, so we need to bisect it. How? Get your compasses, open it at any length that you want, any length that you want. So I'm going to make it maybe this way. Fine, any length that you want. And here I'm going to draw an arc. And then you can go and draw. You can complete it, by the way, the arc over here. It is up to you. And then I'm going to draw an arc over here. You go to these 2 points of intersection and you draw another arc here. You go to this one and you draw another arc there. The point of intersection will help you bisect this angle into 30 and 30. So now you have this as 30 degrees, and this one is 30 degrees. This in total was 60. That's it. Next, the input is 5 multiplied by 2 is going to give you a 10, then cube it is going to give you 1,000. The input is 3 over 2 multiplied by 2 by the numerator, it's as if it's 2 over 1. By to the numerator with the denominator is going to give you 3. Cube it is going to give you 27. But the saying to calculate the input when the output is negative 64. Move backwards. So instead of cube, it's going to be cubic root of negative 64, which is negative 4. And then instead of multiplying it by 2, I'm going to divide the negative 4 that I reached over here, divided by 2 is going to give you negative 2. You want to double check your answer. Do negative 2 times 2 is going to give you negative 4. Negative 4 cubed is negative 64. They're saying to you that Pierre spins this sphere spinner twice. So we're going to need the table. This table, we're going to need it. Look at that. I'm going to need here 1, 2, 3, because they said to you, he adds together his 2 numbers to get a total. So adding together the 2 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Adding 1 and 1 is going to give you 2. Then 1 and 2 is 3. Then here's 4. Then here 3. Then here 4. 2 and 3 is 5. 3 and 1 is 4. 3 and 2 is 5. 3 and 3 is 6. So they're saying to you the possible totals are 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Possible totals could be 2, 3, 4. 3 is repeated, 4 is repeated, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These are, yes, the possible totals. Some of them are repeated, yes, but these are the possible totals. The total is 3, has a probability 1 over 5. Let's see. I'm going to choose a different color to avoid any confusion. Total of 3 is 1 out of 5. Total of 3 happened once, happened twice. It is 2 out of 9, actually. There are 9 totals. The 3 happened only twice, so it is 2 over 9. It's false. Okay, let's get back to the blue. In this simultaneous equation, we need the coefficients of x to be the same to make it ready for elimination, or the coefficients of y to be the same to get it ready for elimination. So here, I'm going to choose actually the y. So I'm going to multiply the first equation by 3, all of it by 3, to make the coefficients the same. I need this to have 3 in it. So the new equation is going to be 2, not 2, multiplying it all by 3, 6x minus 3y equals, this gives you 51. 17 times 3 is going to give you 51. The other equation remains the same. I changed nothing in it. What do you need in order to get rid of the y's? To get rid of the y's, I need to add them up. Because if you say to me, I need to subtract, that means you're saying a negative 3y minus 3y or minus positive 3y. This will not help you eliminate. This is going to give you negative 6y. We need to eliminate them. So plussing them will help you eliminate, will give you a 0. So adding the two equations. All right, 6x plus x is 7x. Negative 3y plus positive 3y, bye-bye, equals 51 plus negative 2 is 49. So x is 7. While y, to find it, we need to substitute in the first equation. 2 times x is actually 2 times 7. So I'm going to take the first equation, substitute 2 times 7. We found x already. 2 times 7 is 14 minus y is 17. So send the 14 to the other side, negative 14. So negative y equals positive 3. Right? Yes. But actually over here, I don't want the y, the negative y, we want only y. So y equals negative 3. If you would like to check your work, you can take the other equation, which is x plus 3y. And we need to substitute x with 7 and the y with negative 3. And we see if we got it right or we made a mistake. If the answer is negative 2, then we got it right. Let's see. X is 7 plus 3 times negative 3, which is negative 9. So 7 minus 9, which is negative 2. We got it right. This is a quadratic equation. How did I know? Because the x is to the power of 2. So I know that my drawing or my graph is going to have a parabola. Something that looks like this. And I cannot make it a straight line. And I cannot use a ruler. Okay? So y equals x squared plus 2 is going to be a parabola. Let's do it. Negative 3 squared is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. Negative 2 squared is 4 plus 2 is 6. Negative 1 squared is 1 plus 2 is 3. Then 0 is going to give you here a 2. Then the 1 is going to give you a 3. Then the 2 is going to give you a 6. And the 3 squared, which is 9 plus 2, is going to give you an 11. If you notice, you're going to find that there is always something in the middle that is different and that the others are repeated. 11, 6, 3, 3, 6, 11. If they are not the same, this and this are not the same, then I made a mistake. But actually, that's if it is complete parabola. So just you can double check this way if it's complete parabola. Let's do it. Negative 3, 11. Negative 3 until 11. Then negative 2 until 6. The negative 1 until 3. And the 0 is until 2. Then 1 until 3. And the 2 is until 6. Sorry. Let me write this one. And then the 3 is until 11. Then smoothly connect them, not with a ruler. Continue. That's it. And you definitely must use a pencil. A quadrilateral has an area of 5 centimeters. The quadrilateral got enlarged by scale factor 4. What is the area of the new enlarged quadrilateral? All right, the old quadrilateral or the original one is 5 centimeters squared, but it got enlarged by scale factor 4. Since it's an area, then we say 4 squared. So it is 5 times 4 squared, which is going to give you 5 times 16, which is equal to what? You're going to find that it's equal to 90 is the final answer. So for the new area, you multiply by scale factor squared. The range of marks for class A is the same as the range of marks for class B. All right, so they're saying that you complete the diagram for class B by writing in the highest mark. So the highest mark is missing. It might be 40 something that is higher than 47 or 50 something. We don't know. But I need first to find the range because they said that range of class A is the same as range of class B. So the range of marks for class A is going to be equal to what? The highest mark here is 56. So it is 56 minus the smallest mark over here is 14. So minus 14. And I knew that for this from the key. The key is telling you that this is 14, though the stem is actually the tens. I knew this from the key. All right, so 56 minus 14 is going to give you exactly 42. So I know now that the range of class B is 42. This is the range. Highest is missing. Let's assume that it's x minus smallest, which is 8. So you can just solve it this way. X equals 42 plus 8, which is 50. So the highest number is 50. You must put here a 0. Okay? So largest minus smallest must be 42 because the range of class A is 42 and they have the same ranges. So if the range is 42, so largest minus 8 is 42. So it is 50 minus 8 that gives you 42. Tick to show if each conclusion is true or false. Still here in the same question. A total of 5 students in the two classes scored less than 15. Let's see. Less than 15, I got here 1, 2, 3, but this is in both classes. Both classes, in the two classes. So here I got 3. Here I got also, sorry, they said less than 15 marks. Less than 15 marks, I got here only 1 student. And here I got the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. Less than 15 in 2 classes together. So it is true, 5 students. The model mark for class A is greater than the model mark for class B. You're going to find here that the model score in class A is 30. Is it greater than the model score than in class B? Class B, you're going to find that the model score is actually 24. The model score is 24. So, Mr. Yes, model score in class A is greater than model score in class B. It is true. Never think that one of them must be false. They're giving us false for a reason. No, it's fine that both of them are true. Fine that both of them are false. Here, in this one, the diagram shows some information about 2 rectangles. Rectangle A, they told you that the parameter is 56. Length to width is 5 to 2. The length of rectangle B is 2.5 centimeters less than the length of rectangle A. Well, we need to find then the length of rectangle A. Well, I know that length to width to total, that's now rectangle A that we're working on. Length is 5, to width is 2, to total is 7. They told you that the parameter is 56. Don't make this mistake and write here 56. No. Why, mister? Because parameter is not length plus width. No. Parameter is actually something that is bigger than that. Parameter is length plus width, but doubled. Right? So if I want only length plus width, only it is half the parameter. So because I need here to work on my ratio for length plus width, I need equals the total, which is here 7. I need the number under the 7. It is not the parameter. Length plus width only without doubling is going to give you half the parameter, which is half the 56. Half the 56, which is 28, is going to give you only length plus width without doubling them. So here, you're going to find that this got multiplied by 4, then the width multiplied by 4 is going to give you 8, and the length multiplied by 4 is going to give you 20. So the length is 20. The width is 8. All right, and even if you try this, doubling length plus width, so 20 plus 8 is 28, double it is going to give you 56. Yes, it worked. But this is not actually the final answer. So far, you either got 1 mark or 2 marks maximum. Only 1 mark, I guess. Length of shape B is 2.5 centimeters less than length of shape A. 2.5 less than 20 is 17.5. Getting this is 2 marks. So saying that length of shape B is 17.5 centimeters, you got 2 marks for this so far. All right, let's continue. They want the ratio of length to width for rectangle B, knowing that the parameter is also 56. So I know that length plus width only without doubling them is half the parameter. Let me erase the last line to have enough space. All right. I'll change also the color. This is for rectangle B now. Length to width to total. I do not have the original ratio, so I'm going to work on this one. I have the length. It is 17.5. We found that it is 2.5 centimeters less than this length. So 17.5. 2. The width is unknown. I don't know it. But I know that total, both of them, is half of the parameter we agreed, which is 28. So what is the width? 17.5 plus what is going to give you 28? 17.5 plus 10.5. I know this now, mister. What is the width? 17.5 plus what is 28? 28 is the half of the parameter. We agreed length plus width is half the parameter because double length plus width is the parameter. So this you're going to find that it's 10.5. Perfect. So far, you're still in the 2 marks zone. Why? Because they wanted the ratio in the simplest form. So now you're requested, as if you're requested to do what? Simplify. Guys, if you're a little bit confused, get back to the beginning of the explanation. This confusion will reduce a lot listening to this for the second time. So here, simplify 17.5 to 10.5. So I multiply both of them first by 10 to get rid of the decimals. So it's 175 to 105 after multiplying both by 10. Now dividing this by 5, dividing this by 5 is going to give you exactly here 35. 1 second. Dividing by 5 is going to give you here 3. Yes, 35. And dividing this by 5 is going to give you exactly 21. Dividing by 7 is going to give you what? So here we divide by 5. Here we divide by 7. It's going to give you 5 to 7. So it is 5 to 3. Dividing this by 7 is 5 to 3. This is the simplest form. Now we get the 3 marks. The term-to-term rule of a sequence is multiply by 2. The first term of the sequence is A. Then the second term, multiply by 2. So multiply the first term by 2. Term-to-term rule is multiply by 2, so it's going to be 2A. Then the third, multiply by 2, 4A. Then the fourth, multiply by 2, 8A, and so on. But we don't need all of that. This thing to the sum of the first term and the third term is 35. So A plus 4A is 35. So 5A is 35. So A is 7. Work out the sum of the first 2 terms. Well, the first term is A, which is 7. The second term is 2A, doubling the 7, which is 14. The sum of the first 2 terms, 7 plus 14, which is 21. Again, you can replay this section for any question that you feel confused in. Replay it, and you're gonna feel like you got a much better understanding of the question. Here, what happened to the 0.45 to become 4,500? I multiplied it by 10 to the power of 4. So P is actually 4. This got multiplied by 10 to the power of 40 to give me 4,500. While here, this one, the Q, is what? Is you're going to find that I moved one digit to the left. No, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits to the left. 5 digits to the left, which is going to be 10 to the power of -5. So it is -5. Q here is -5. All right, to become this answer. This is not what they want. So far, you're going to get only 1 mark. Find the value of 0.038 divided by 10 to the power of P plus 2Q. I need to find what this is. P is 4 plus 2 times -5, which is -10. So 4 plus -10 is -6. So it is 10 to the power of -6. It's the same answer as 0.038 times 10 to the power of 6, which is going to give you, moving it 3 digits. So now I need 3 more, is 3 zeros. A polygon has 7 sides. The mean of the sizes, which means the average of the sizes of the 6 smallest angles in the polygon is 115 degrees. So this is for only one angle. Mean or average is per one. So this is only one angle. But okay, I need the 6 smallest angles altogether. So 6 multiplied by 115 is going to give you, this is a 3, so it's going to give you here 9, so it's 690. Okay, mister, so what is the size of the 7th angle? The largest angle, what's the size? Well, I need first to know 7 sides is how many degrees? Following the rule, n minus 2 multiplied by 180. It will give you 7 minus 2, which is 5, times 180 is going to give you 900 degrees. So the total 7 angles is equal to 900 degrees. 6 of them are equal to 690. What is the 7th angle? Again, all the 7 angles, 900 degrees. 6 of the 7 angles, 690. What are the size of the 7th? 900 minus 690, which is 210 degrees. The solution x to the equation 4x equals 12 minus px is an integer. P is a positive integer. Find a possible value of P. Well, there are actually 2 ways. One way is trial and error. And through the trial and error, you will figure out the other method. So if I try P, they said P is a positive integer, and X is also an integer, which means can not be decimal. Cannot be a decimal. X cannot be a decimal. So saying 4x equals 12, let's assume that P is 1 whole. So it's going to be minus 1x, which is x. Sending the x to the other side with the positive sign. So 4x plus x gives you 5x equals 12. Sending the 5 over there, that will lead to a decimal, not an integer. X is not going to be an integer. It's going to be 2 point something. So no, it's not going to work. So what is going to work? If you try the 2, so for x equals 12 minus 2x, if p is 2, so 2x. Sending a negative 2x to the other side is going to make it 4x plus 2x, which is 6x equals 12. So x is going to be equal to 2, which is an integer, not a decimal. So a possible value for p is 2. Or any value that will help you send x to the other side and becomes a factor of 12. Like what? Like sending the -2 to the other side becomes +6, right? This is going to help you do what? Dividing the 12 by 6. Or, mister, it could work if I have here also a 12, because I will send it to the other side, divide 12, it will give me a 1. So someone might say to me, mister, I'm gonna make P an 8, because sending -8 to the other side, +8x, will make it 12. X equals 12. X is still an integer, is going to be 1. So 2, if P is 2, will work. If P is 8, will also work. Look at this. For x equals 12 minus 8x. So sending the 8x over there, 12 with a positive sign, so it gives you 12x equals 12, x is 1. Both will work. P equals 2, P equals 8, both will work. That's it. Thank you so much, everyone, and see you in another video.